Today, we got some drama in the Canadian government, and it seems like the Liberal government is collapsing, from cabinet ministers resigning to even Jagmeet Singh, NDP's leader, saying that he'll vote no confidence. We'll give you our thoughts. And then second, apparently 2 million people are expected to leave Canada in the immigration reset. And next, in a tragic story, someone ran a bunch of people over in a Christmas market in Germany, injuring 200 people and killing at least 5. And then we'll talk about drones flying over New Jersey. Everyone's been talking about it, from Trump to Biden. We'll give you our thoughts. And last, fertility rates have been dropping and everyday chemicals seem to be adding to the problem. And after all that, stay tuned for Off Topic, where we talk about the trendy things. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And go follow our Instagram page at TheBiringPodcast. So it seems like there's been a lot going on with the Canadian government. So it started with Chrystia Freeland stepping down. In a letter she wrote to Trudeau on Friday, "You told me you no longer want me to serve as your finance minister and offered me another position in the cabinet. Upon reflection, I have concluded that the only honest and viable path is for me to resign from the cabinet. To be effective, a minister must speak on behalf of the prime minister and with his full confidence. In making your decision, you made it clear that I no longer credibly enjoy that confidence and possess the authority that comes with it. For the past number of weeks, you and I have found ourselves at odds about the best path forward for Canada."
Yeah, so these two have been at odds for a while now. I think he said it last week in the House. He wasn't really coming to her defense a couple times there. So there's been friction there for a little bit. I feel like.
I mean, I think there was like this, I saw a clip of it where I think Polyev was like grilling Trudeau and asking if she still stands behind him, and she got up and she's like, yes, right? But when it came time for him to like stand up for her, he didn't really say anything.
Mm-hmm.
But this isn't anything new for Trudeau. I don't know if you remember in 2020, his finance minister back then, I think it's Bill Monroe or something like that.
Yeah.
He kind of had a public falling out with him as well. So it's not like he's new to any of this, right? But yeah, how do you feel about Chrystia Freeland just resigning in general?
It feels like it came down to the spending and the holiday tax, right? They're at odds over it. It came in, I think, 20 billion over what she had projected. It was like 40 million. Then it came in at like 60 something million, their whole budget.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like before I've been pretty critical of her, even with you, right? But now, like the way that she's acting, it made me feel that maybe she had been coerced a little bit by Trudeau, or felt the pressure at least to just keep accepting everything that was going on, type of deal.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like, he was throwing her under the bus a little bit. For sure. But for 4 years, she's been going along with all of it, right?
Yeah.
And the way I look at it, like I always like to think like, okay, what does that person stand to gain, right? Like, why would she do this, right?
Yeah.
She's not just doing it like as like a innocence play or anything. It's a political move as well. Right?
Yeah.
What she thinks is that, after she stepped down, she's one of the front runners to lead the Liberal Party anyways, right? Yeah. Her, Matt LeBlanc, the housing minister, a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
Nobody trusts any of these people at this point, right?
The Liberal Party in general.
Yeah.
Lost confidence.
Later on in the same letter, she wrote, "We need to take that threat extremely seriously. That means keeping our fiscal powder dry today so we have the reserves we may need for a coming tariff war. That means eschewing costly political gimmicks which we can ill afford and which make Canadians doubt that we recognize the gravity of the moment."
See, look at that. She took a dig at him there.
Yeah.
Political gimmicks, right?
Yeah.
She's talking about his holiday tax, clearly.
Yeah.
And even if you look at the way she went about it, it's hours before their budget meeting.
Right.
She resigns.
Yeah.
I think also he told her he was going to change her position over Zoom.
Yeah.
So I think she felt slighted there.
Yeah.
And then she changes, or she resigns like right before he's about to walk in. I think you showed me that picture of him getting out of the car.
Yeah.
He seemed pretty stressed out.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they're going to talk about the fall economic update, and then and then your finance minister resigns.
Yeah.
Like, it looks pretty bad, right? And then, like, I feel like she not only, like, this holiday tax thing, right? Like, everyone was briefly talking about how they're strengthening the border because there was something in the fall economic statement saying that they're going to spend, I think it was around $1.3 billion on beefing up border security to show Trump and the Americans that, hey, listen, we're taking border seriously, right?
Yeah.
But I think I've read somewhere, and Sukhvir fact check me on this, but they're spending somewhere between, I think, $4.2 billion on the $250 that they're handing out, and like another $2 billion on the GST, HST tax cut, right? Or it's reversed. I got those things mixed up. But like, look at that. They're spending $6 billion to buy votes, and $1 billion on the border.
Literally to buy votes.
Right? And
I want to see the numbers after all this is done.
Bro,
I don't think it's going to be
if you're in a $60 billion deficit, right? If you minus that $6 billion, they'd be at like 54.
Yeah.
Right? Unless I'm wrong. Yeah, 4.9 billion, right?
Yeah.
Is that what
GST.
For GST, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's another 2 billion, I think, or around there for the $250 that he's giving everyone in April.
Which they don't even have to give out because they're 50% higher than their anticipated budget. We might not even see that money. I don't even know.
I think it passed. You're going to see it.
We're going to see it.
Yeah, you're going to
1.68 billion.
1.68? 4.68. So, like, look at that, right? Like, you're $20 billion over budget, and this guy thinks that's the best time to spend $8 billion more, right? And now you're looking at, like, even she is just like, what are we doing, right? She's saying, like, we need to save money today so we have more money tomorrow.
For sure.
That's kind of like in life. Like, if you want to save money, if you want to get anywhere, right, you live below your means so you have more left over at the end of the day, right? So you can invest it, you can put it into whatever you see fit, whether it's index ETFs or whatever you think, right? If you're spending all your cash as it comes in, even in household finances, what are you going to invest? What are you going to have left, right? They're doing the same thing here. He's not only doing that, he's like going into debt every single month, right? That's like, if you want to compare it to like a typical home budget.
But it seems like she, like how this thing all shook out, right? In the end, and how it ended, it seemed like she had at least been telling him, and a bunch of people were telling him. That's why she resigned. Right? She's still going to run for MP, she said. She's going to stay on the Liberal Party as well.
She said that I heard in that statement, maybe I misread, that she wasn't going to run for re-election. That's what she said to him. But the weird part of all of this was, while this was going on, right, you have all that Trump stuff going on, right?
Where did he chimed in too?
Yeah. But while all this is, what did he say?
He was something along the lines of, I think she will be missed. She won't be missed.
She won't be missed.
And just saying the governor, calling him the governor of 51st states.
I doubt he even knows the full extent of the situation, right?
She has plans to run for re-election.
Yeah.
She has.
She has been in 2025 as a Liberal MP.
Okay. So I was wrong. But yeah, I feel like...
originally, he wanted somebody else, right?
Mark Carney?
Yeah.
It's the same guy. So, like, 4 years ago in 2020, his finance minister, even at that time, this Mark Carney guy has kind of been Trudeau's advisor ever for a while now, right? Yeah. And this same guy at that time, I believe, got the same result, right? The finance minister, they had a big public falling out, right? And then now again, this guy, apparently, I don't know, right? But he's behind this whole carbon tax thing, and he's behind this GST holiday thing because he's his economic advisor. It's all speculation, right? Nobody really knows. Yeah. But then you look at this guy, right? When this happens, even with this LeBlanc person who's now the finance minister.
Isn't that one of his like friends too?
Apparently,
one he appointed?
It's one of his family friends or something. I'm not sure. But like outside of that, even then, if this Mark Carney guy was up for the job, right? Yeah. And when he sees the mess it is, he's like, I don't want to be a part of it, right? Yeah. So he was the general of the Bank of Canada previously, right? And like, I don't know, if you
It's
see
like
that,
coaching a bad sports team. Nobody wants to take the job.
who wants to take control of this mess?
Yeah.
Right. But while all of this was going on, you had
This
the
is Trudeau's babysitter.
that's wild.
Yeah.
No way, actually, that's wild.
You know who LeBlanc was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So he's clearly a family.
Even
They have a
I read
relationship.
somewhere where
He even used to babysit Trudeau.
this Carney guy,
Yeah.
I think I could be wrong here. It could just be fake news, but he might be the godfather of one of Chrystia Freeland's kids or something.
Damn.
It could have been fake news though. But yeah, you remember when all the tariff stuff was like really heavy?
Yeah.
Like the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And Trudeau was just quiet because this shit is going on.
Yeah.
Right. And then you have Doug Ford, who's like, I want to talk to Trump businessman to businessman, right? And everyone's criticizing him for everything. Somebody had to step up for Canada.
For sure.
Right? Like nobody else is talking or doing anything.
Yeah.
Right? And then this guy, and then if you go look at Americans, like they're not going to take a premier seriously, right?
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
it's like Justin Trudeau arguing with the governor of something.
Governor,
Like,
yeah.
it doesn't they
Same
don't
thing.
right? So, but I don't really blame him, right? Because Trudeau was just quiet.
Yeah.
He was staying out
Somebody
of the
had to
media
say something.
while Trump's taking shots, while he's saying Canada could be the 51st state and Trudeau could be a governor. He's just quiet.
Yeah.
Everybody else from Polyev,
It's embarrassing.
Jagmeet Singh, even Danielle Smith, the Alberta premier, the Saskatchewan, whether they had different viewpoints, they were talking.
said
Like
something,
everyone was sticking up and saying like, we want to do this or that. This guy was just nowhere to be found. And then after that, after no one's been hearing from him for a while,
Yeah.
he basically did a 15-minute speech in front of the Liberals. Sukfir, you want to play that clip?
Holiday party, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's hard not to feel happy when we're like this among liberals, among family, because that's what we really are, a big family.
Big family.
Now, like
Freeland's in the.
most families,
She was in attendance.
sometimes
That's
we have
crazy,
fights
eh?
around the holidays. But of course, like most
Our
families,
family doesn't fight.
we find our way through it.
So what do you think? It's like
No.
a conspiracy?
What?
Is that he told
love
her to
this
step
country.
down so she could have
I
like
deeply
bigger
love
plans?
this party. I
Hold
love
on.
you guys. And love is what families are all about. All right. And I just spoke French for a solid stretch there. Stay with us, Toronto.
Oh, wow.
Right?
You can look
I
up the
was shocked
translation
that he-
online
Rude.
tomorrow. Mais je me demande
His
comment
jokes
ils ont
are so
traduit
bad.
tabarouette.
They're like dad jokes.
Like, that's. You're gonna insult your biggest voting bloc in the end there, and then he says something in French. I don't know what the hell he said, but you're gonna assume it was something rude.
I mean, it's fine. I'm not that sensitive. I don't think people in
I don't know.
Toronto care that much, right? That and
But what was the need for that? Why just be like, "Ooh, you can research it tomorrow? Calm down, Toronto." Like,
what is he? Oh, because he's saying that people in Toronto don't speak French.
yeah, obviously, but
It's just a corny joke.
Yeah, this is a corny joke, right? Like it's a surface level joke.
yeah,
But it's just like, is he even at a
thought it was
position
offensive.
where he can make a joke like that when so many
Exactly.
people are already hating
everyone
on you? Like,
hates
shouldn't
you, and you're
keep
just
it?
like, "Oh, if you don't have enough reason, you guys are dumb too." That's what I think of you guys.
He's prime minister. He can do whatever he wants.
No, he can't because
not gonna
if
be
this no confidence vote happens,
So he's trying to just do whatever he can in the little amount of time that he has.
Clearly,
yeah. But I mean, I feel like even there, like after he's missing for 2 days, right? His finance minister resigns, right? He's not talking about
Wasn't he
tariffs.
trying to organize a bunch of like minister meetings, trying
That
to
was
get everybody on the
premiers.
same page? Premier
Yeah,
meetings.
yeah.
Isn't
He was-
that what he was doing while you're saying that he's been quiet?
Publicly, privately, you could do whatever.
yeah,
Yeah.
Right? Publicly, your country's being threatened with tariffs,
Right.
right? Your government is collapsing, and you're just like, I'm not gonna say anything until I have more information. Like, what are you waiting for?
You
If you're
have
the
to say
leader,
something.
right? You have to like. It doesn't matter who disagrees with you. Half the country's gonna disagree with you regardless, right? That's just how liberals, left versus right happens. Right?
Yeah.
But if you're the leader of a country, it's your responsibility during those times to step up and say something.
For sure, to reassure like the
Even
people.
Biden, man, they'll pull him out of hiding and he'll come and say something, right? This guy's just like,
Biden won't even speak English.
He'll say something.
say something.
We don't know what it is.
something.
Slur.
Yeah. I mean, even so, during that, people were expecting him to say something about Chrystia Freeland,
Yeah.
something about addressing Trump or anything relevant. And he's talking about Toronto residents don't know how to speak French,
Cracking
Yeah.
jokes.
right?
We're all a family.
And you were saying Freeland sitting in the front row here?
I don't know about the front row, but I saw her. She attended.
Nice.
She's wearing a liberal red.
Please like and subscribe, as it really does help the podcast out tremendously. Now let's get back to the pod. I think there's another clip that we have of him. I think he doesn't really. He also takes shots at Polyev here.
I mean, just look at their current leader.
She called him the Grinch.
His slogans are all about cutting taxes, but put an actual tax cut on the table, and he votes against it. He voted against a tax break for Canadians over these Christmas holidays. He voted to make, when he was a minister, he voted to make life harder for unions, to make it harder for workers to organize. But today, he pretends to stand with them.
Who's in this crowd?
He
cheering?
voted
Liberals, you got a
repeatedly
liberal holiday
against
I get it,
the
but
right
like-
to abortion. But now he tries to claim he's pro-choice. We stand with Canadians. We stand up for Canada.
Oh no, Mr. Coffee.
He thought he killed him.
Merci, mes amis. Thank you so much.
The proud feminist. Oh my God.
I don't know. He's talking about
That's what he does. He chooses to campaign.
yeah.
Address what's going on.
No, even what he said about Polyev, right? He's like he voted against this tax cut.
Yeah.
It's because he's not an idiot.
Yeah.
Right? Like, first of all, you're gonna impose this carbon tax, right? Which
Right.
raises the prices of everything anyways. Right? And then you're going into debt, right? At a time when you need as much money as possible to fight a tariff war, maybe, right?
Yeah.
That could be avoided if you were a decent leader, right? And instead of doing it, like if you're going to say that Polyev was not for Canadians getting tax breaks, what is this stupid holiday tax cut? We talked about it last week. Half of the
Yeah.
things are taxed. Half of
Nobody
them aren't.
understands it. A lot of Canadians don't even want it.
There's so many breweries out there, bro. I was watching something today about how they have like drinks that they serve in their restaurant.
Yeah.
And like the alcohol that they put in the drink, alcohol by volume might be slightly more than 7%, but how it's watered down is actually less than 7%.
Yeah.
But they don't know which way to tax it. So they're just charging tax anyways. And like, they're so confused.
Yeah.
Right. And like from,
I'm sure that's happening everywhere. There's just
yeah. And then
Charging
he thinks
tax
he's-
when they're not
he-
supposed to.
the problem is because he thinks that he's doing a tax cut. And like people are just so stupid that they don't realize that, hey, listen, this isn't a tax cut,
yeah.
right? You're just you
The tax
you're
trick.
charging us a carbon tax,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then you're going to give us $250, right?
But I think most people don't think of it that deep. They'll just see like, oh, $250. Yay, we're getting a little bit of money for Christmas.
Yeah.
They get
don't know.
excited.
Based on what I see online or people that I talk to, I think the public sentiment has shifted a lot and people are looking into politics because they're fed up.
Right.
And this
Yeah.
guy's making them because they're like, wait, what the hell is he doing?
Yeah.
Right?
So maybe he's doing something positive.
Well, if you want to look at it like
People are
that,
doing
glass
more
half full,
research.
sure.
No, I don't think this is positive at all. I think he's trying to pull this stunt.
I just took a little silver lining out of it.
Yeah, no, there's no silver lining here. I just see, to me, honestly, he seems like a little, like somebody who's unwinding a little bit, right? The way that how
sure.
energetic he was at the end of that, like
He had
as
to
if-
cough because he
right?
was too energetic.
He was like, "Oh, that was a good one." Like, yeah, he was feeling himself in front of a bunch of people that agree with you. That's easy to do.
Yeah. Do
Right,
in
like-
a room of people that don't agree with.
Imagine him in a debate this year. He
I
would,
would
wanna
love
see
to
it.
see that.
that would be.
I want to.
That's what I feel like you're gonna like. I know it's not important to have that if you technically get the right person in power.
Yeah.
But imagine a live debate with him and Polyev. I know Jagmeet would be there too, but like Polyev would eat this guy for lunch.
Yeah.
It would be
There'd be a
funny.
lot of yelling.
It would be funny. I think it would be hilarious. I would love to watch that. And I
Yeah.
think we're not going to get that because I think this vote or no
know.
confidence is going to happen. But yeah, so 2 days after this, he shuffled his cabinet, adding, I think, 8 new ministers and shuffling around some more.
Yeah.
Then obviously the main conversation here is that Canadians won an election.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure.
And Paulie has been calling one for months.
How many? I think he proposed it 3 times already and it got shot down.
I mean, we talked about it a couple podcasts ago.
Yeah.
But like the only issue is to have a vote of no confidence succeed, you obviously need the majority, right?
Yeah.
And with the bloc and the PC, you're not going to get it done.
For sure.
Right. So you need NDP.
He knows. who
Right.
he needs.
And and Jagmeet Singh did that whole thing where he tore up the paper and he's
Yeah.
like, there's no longer a coalition. And then he still wouldn't vote for no confidence. Right.
Yeah.
And then he had an interview recently with CTV. I don't know if you saw it.
yeah.
And he said this.
Speculate on when it's going to happen. What I am committing to is that in this election, I want folks to know they have a real choice. Even though I know it's a
They
big
have
mountain
to
to climb.
get an election before they can
There will
make
be
a
an
choice.
election. There's going to be an election in 2025. I want to make a decision that's in the best interest of Canadians. I'm not going to speculate on what that decision is now, but I can tell you what I am saying right now. Trump is a real threat. People are worried about their jobs. Trudeau has to go.
Yeah.
I'm not going to speculate about what's going to happen months from now. When that happens, I'll make a decision.
But it's not speculation because you're the one who can tip the power in a
does such a
non-confidence
There's
vote.
speculation about what's in the best interest of Canadians. 2 months from now.
They're saying an election is in our best
But we don't
interest.
know what's going to happen a month from now. We don't know what we're confronted with. What I can say right now is there's going to be an election in 2025. That is guaranteed. And in that election, I'm fighting and running to become prime minister.
You can make that happen. I don't understand
why
the
would I
downside
box-
for you.
Why would I box myself in and say I'm going to do something definitive when
Because
we don't know what's
Canadians
going to
are
happen?
saying that's what we want.
No, we're going to wait and see what happens, right? We're going to make sure that we know exactly what's going on. When something is in front of me, when there's a vote in front of me, I'll make a decision. But what I can tell you is that there's going to be an election, and people need to know what's at stake. People in Canada have been able to go to the dentist and fix their teeth because we fought to make that happen.
Oh my gosh, she's
so
so
we're going to keep on
sarcastic.
fighting for people.
A lot of people would say those 2 boxes are checked. Time for you to act on what you've been saying all along, that it's time for Trudeau to go.
There's going to be an election.
I know that there is. All right, even grade 11 civics classes know that there's going to be an election.
there you
NDP
go.
leaders.
She's like, yeah, you said it 10 times. There's going to be an election.
He's like grade 11 civics.
Counted how many times he said it.
Right?
I think he said it 5 or 6 times.
Yeah, we all understand, Jagmeet, that like, there will be an election in October 2025 if you did nothing at
October.
all. Right?
Yeah.
He's like, there will be one next year. But before we react, just a couple days after that,
Yeah.
this guy wrote a statement and posted on X saying Justin Trudeau failed in the biggest job a prime minister has, to work for the people, not the powerful. The NDP will vote to bring this government down and give Canadians a chance to vote for a government who will work for them.
Yeah. So it seems that he's succumbed to the pressure and he's actually saying that he's going to vote in no confidence now, finally.
Okay, so
Even the letter, the letter, he's just campaigning again in the letter. If you read his letter, there's nothing else there.
even there, right? Like, I didn't know what the approach was. I feel like he's saying that he's not going to vote no confidence for like 3-4 months now, right?
Yeah.
And then the closer it got to it, especially after Chrystia Freeland like stepped down,
Yeah.
you would think somebody in his camp, right? Now, I'm not somebody who's typically leans towards the NDP, but like if I was and I was somebody in his camp, I'd be like, bro,
Just a safe face.
like, hey, it's kind of time
keep doing this.
we need an election here, right? Like we can't just keep, like, I'm trying to think, was it strategy? You think he was trying to think like, if I prolong this, the Liberals are kind of screwed. Maybe the first time ever people will vote NDP.
That's what I think. I think he wants all the liberal voters.
Yeah, sure. But even in that interview, he goes, obviously, Canadians are not going to vote liberal. So there's conservatives or there's me.
Right.
This is not garnering you votes. If you're confident that you can get those votes, just start an election right now. It makes you look scared, if anything.
I think he lost those votes, right?
Yeah.
Because if
You keep annoying people.
If he did it the other way, then his strategy could have worked. If he was like, okay, enough is enough. And when it was time, if he just decided to just be like, all right, we're going to do the vote of no confidence.
Yeah.
Right? Even then, like, the timing of it all
Yeah.
is a little bit like, convenient for him. Right?
Yeah.
And for Trudeau.
Yeah, I think it was on purpose.
Yeah.
The timing.
I think this interview had a lot to do with it. She schooled him. Man.
She did. And then he keeps saying, I'm not going to get boxed in. Even that, do you think it's a little bit of like an ego thing? Like these guys are in the house, him and Polyev, they banter back and forth, right?
Yeah.
And then he's like, do a no confidence. And he's like, I'm never going to do it. You
Yeah.
can't tell me what to do. Like if it's being a little bit childish or something, I don't know what he's thinking, right? Just pure speculation. But yeah, so you want to Google real quick what a vote of no confidence is?
Yeah.
Okay, so what is a vote of no confidence? Also, a confidence motion asks all members of parliament to vote on whether or not they have confidence in the incumbent prime minister and their party.
Okay, so basically if they lose confidence in the government, and then what happens if after they have a vote of no confidence?
So once the incumbents are defeated in a confidence motion, the Governor General decides what happens next. The GG will either invite the opposition parties in the House of Commons to try to form a government or dissolve Parliament and call an election.
Okay. So basically it means that they no longer have confidence in the government and they're calling for an election.
Yeah.
Right.
It'll trigger an election.
Which is what most Canadians want anyways. Yeah. Right?
The thing with Jagmeet is, again, is this just another way of stalling? Because the House is now on their holiday, right?
Yeah, till the 29th, I think. Yeah.
From the 15th to the 29th of January.
Yeah, January.
So they can't table the motion again
until then. Yeah.
So kind of buys them time.
Yeah.
Just coincidentally, did he wait until...
I mean, you don't know what kind of conversations are being had behind closed doors, but at this point, like, does it really matter? Are they just tone deaf? Like, do they not see like the whole country isn't going that way anyways?
Yeah.
Or is it just us who are like out of touch?
I mean, the
right?
polls are showing everything. I know they're not that reliable. But there's a massive difference in the polls.
I don't think anyone has conversations about being pro Trudeau whatsoever.
Definitely not Trudeau.
And if Jagmeet Singh had any kind of, I feel like, momentum, he lost it all because he took too long to act on this confidence vote stuff. Right.
I think people, not pro Trudeau, but they're still pro liberal. I don't think that.
Yeah, their ideologies.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay, even if you are, right? If there's nobody, like, what would happen here is that if you're going to have a vote of no confidence and Trudeau is going to, if Trudeau doesn't resign, right, then it's whatever. There's going to be an election, right? If Trudeau resigns, like Carney, LeBlanc, the housing minister, like who's going to step in where they're going to have enough momentum for a lot of Canadians to be like, hey, listen, yeah.
I'm just thinking about like the older generation.
Even the older generation.
They don't really do much
research.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even them, like I feel like Poilievre's been running a campaign for a year now.
Yeah,
he's
right. Like
for
he's
sure.
ready for this.
He has all the juice, man.
Yeah,
everyone's behind him.
Whereas, like I think Trudeau's been just demolishing the Liberals like every chance he gets, and Jagmeet Singh, like I feel like he really just held out too long.
Yeah.
Right. Like I think, like you're saying, like people who veer more to the left when it comes to political ideologies. I think they would have left Liberals and maybe voted NDP because they would have seen it as...
I don't think he waited too long. I think he waited till Trudeau said so many stupid things and kept making bad decisions. Then now he's going to decide to run.
Yeah, but his fight wasn't not a fight, but his like job, what he's trying to get prime minister.
Right.
Trudeau wasn't going to win that this year anyway.
Yeah.
In polling, right? So your main adversary is Poilievre.
Now he's not even going to beat
and
them.
you lost ground there, right? Like I think a little bit. I mean, Google how many seats the NDP got the last election versus how many they've historically gotten.
I even noticed when they only campaign towards Poilievre, not each other at all.
Who?
Whenever they talk, Trudeau or Jagmeet.
Yeah,
they know that's the battle, right?
It's also kind of in Canada. It's always been a way where NDP and Liberals, their ideologies kind of correlate somewhat, right?
It's like left and more left.
Exactly, right? And then one on the right. It's kind of unfair when you look at it,
Yeah.
right? Because the Bloc, because it's Quebec, not Canada in general is probably not going to give them as many votes.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So I feel like, I don't know. It's been a little bit unfair because even if PC wins, if they don't win majority, they're not going to get to do everything.
That's the thing.
Do,
they need a majority.
And that's where, like, if Jagmeet was smart, right? That's where you'd be like, instead of going at Poilievre, if you can read the writing on the wall, right? You vote no confidence earlier, right? And then you can maybe form somewhat of a relationship with the Conservatives. I'm not saying trust them fully or anything. If you're thinking political strategy only, right? And now you can have a conversation about getting certain bills passed that you're interested in because you're part of that inner circle, right? Now you're on the out.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you're going to make an enemy and these guys win the election, if they win a majority, they're going to do what they want.
That's what, it's poor strategy on his part.
I mean, I feel like at this point, the whole country wants not only just like a conservative mindset. Like I'm not speaking for the whole country, but when there's been so much overspending, right? Inflation's through the roof. The dollar is plummeting. Right? You can't have a government that just wants to spend. And keeps talking about ways that they're going to save Canadians money by spending more money. Like, who do you think pays those taxes so you can spend this money? Right?
Maybe cuts are necessary.
I don't know, man. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, so Poilievre's been asking for this confidence votes for months now. Right? And this is how he basically felt on the situation.
I'm not the prime minister, and that's precisely why we need an axe the tax election. Because right now, it looks like a chaotic clown show that's costing Canadians. Right now, the incoming president, who's at his strongest moment, sees nothing but weakness from the NDP Liberal government. He has no idea who's in charge over here. He sees premiers saying one thing, other premiers saying other things, the prime minister hiding under his desk. We're still astonished that it's now been weeks since the U.S. president said he would make, he maybe jokingly, that Canada would be the 51st state. And it's incredible the prime minister of Canada has not responded to that, which just is an illustration of the absolute, total, pathetic weakness of Justin Trudeau and his entire chaotic government. The only way for me to have the moral authority to get a deal with incoming President Trump is to have the strength that comes from winning election and having a 4-year mandate so that I face him with a position of strength.
I mean, looking at that, right? Like at least this guy's talking sense. Right. And you know how Trudeau kept saying like he's like Poilievre's political games, right? And they'll just laugh it off, right? Who looks like they're playing political games? This guy's giving you answers, right? Whether or not you think he's being a populist or whatever is a different argument, but he's giving you answers, right? Whereas Trudeau's saying, Toronto, like, what is he talking about?
I think even like what he said there, he's like, I'm not the prime minister. So he waited long enough and he's just like, oh, nobody's going to say anything to this guy.
Right.
None of you guys are going to address it. The other leaders, they're not mentioning it. Well, Jagmeet did, in all fairness. But Trudeau just completely avoided or hid under his desk.
That's what this guy said. But yeah, because of the way it plays out, Poilievre and Jagmeet saying they can't really do anything. Right. That's kind of in Trudeau's hands. The premiers have more power in that sense. Right. Like if it comes to, so it's the prime minister and the premiers, right? The opposition can't really do anything. Right. So they're sitting around like we are, like, bro, say something. Right. He keeps saying that we're going to be the 51st state. Like, you're not going to say anything. Or like he's saying that like he's going to do 25% tariffs and you're like, export tax. Like, let's tax ourselves. Right? Let's just screw over the things that we export. Right. Like, let's do that. Right. Like, I don't know. To me, it's a little nuts, man. But yeah, the 21st state stuff. I think there's another clip of Poilievre responding to more so the Trump conversation that's been going on.
And my message to incoming President Trump is that first and foremost, Canada will never be the 51st state of the U.S. Well, we should reinforce our border to stop fentanyl, guns, stolen cars, not just for President Trump, but for our own people after 9 years of Trudeau losing control of the border. And we need to rebuild our, finally, on the trade issue. What I'd say to President Trump is look, yeah, we have a trade surplus with you, but that's because we're basically donating you our raw materials and letting American workers profit from $100 billion of underpriced Canadian oil and gas. So they get the money and the jobs. I would be more than happy to bring that home. And my belief is that he wants America to win. There's no question. But I want to show him that Canada can win at the same time. He will put America first. I will put Canada first, which is new and different. And I believe we have overlapping interests and values.
He's not even trying to be funny. He just is, man.
Yeah. I mean,
Like, I try not to be biased, but look at that guy. They keep saying he's not saying anything. He's not making any sense. That made a lot of sense to me, everything he was saying. At least he has a backbone. He's starting to say something to Trump, too, because everybody else is mum.
I feel like over the last couple of weeks when we were talking about it, and like there's that Doug Ford approach to tariffs, and there is the Danielle Smith approach, right? And I kept saying, like, you need somebody who's in the middle, who knows to Trump, he's like, hey, listen, we have these assets too, but at the same time, you guys want America to win? That's fine. We can help each other. Let's just go at this together, right? And I feel like you can have those conversations behind closed doors, and then publicly you could say, you know, certain things to help your voter base or which Trudeau, I don't know, for whatever reason, he doesn't know how to have those kind of conversations, right? He doesn't know. I don't know if he knows how to have those conversations with premiers. Definitely didn't do anything when he went to Mar-a-Lago and had that conversation with Trump. Right. And then
to be a fly on the wall.
What?
Like, during their meeting, if we had
Trudeau and
anything, I bet you just clowned him.
You don't need to be a fly. He probably sat there awkwardly laughed while Trump just shat on him the whole time and just gave him, you know, Trump's handshake where he pulls it in. Like he probably did that. Trudeau probably fell on the floor. I don't know, man. I mean, it's pretty crazy where this thing's gotten to. And then now, if this vote of no confidence actually happens on the 29th, I think eventually it'll trigger that election that most Canadians want. And hopefully there's somebody that's in office that's willing to stand up for Canada.
Hopefully. It seems like he's content to ride this thing till the wheels fall off. Like, he's going to keep going unless they actually pass the...
I mean, there was rumors of him considering resigning. He was talking to various cabinet ministers, right?
That's why I keep reading considering, but he says nothing about it.
Well, if he doesn't resign and there's a vote of no confidence, you're going to get an election anyways. Right?
Yeah.
If he resigns, what's going to happen is somebody else is going to try to step into that seat.
Freely.
Right? I don't know. Freely and LeBlanc, these are their options, right? So if they do, then you're going to get a vote of no confidence anyways. Or you should. Especially at that point, it should happen like this. Jagmeet shouldn't be like, maybe tomorrow, maybe in October, right? Like, then it should happen quickly, right? Because
his pension hits in what, February? So
by the time that election hits, I don't know. But so hopefully we do get that election and then Canada can move on, right?
Yeah.
With some sort of certainty, right?
Feels like we're stuck in quicksand right now.
Right?
Yeah.
Anytime anything happens, anyone talks shit, our prime minister just wants to say nothing. Do these stupid little conferences with the liberals and say nothing publicly about whatever's going on. But yeah, so let's move on to the Canadian immigration reset. According to the Financial Post, 2 million people are expected to leave the country in Canada's immigration reset. What if they don't? Economists and lawyers warn that Ottawa's goal to curb population growth in such a short time will create chaos and confusion in a system already on the edge. And here's an example of someone who's kind of going through this. Despite moving to Canada from India in 2018 as an international student and receiving a work permit upon graduating 2 years later, Dinesh lives in Ontario today as a visitor, even though that was obviously not the original plan. But with no other way to extend his stay in Canada after the expiry of his work permit in July, the 25-year-old decided to convert his status by applying for a visitor visa. I did that to stay a little bit longer with hopes of qualifying for an immigration draw, he said. I am doing my best to learn French and improve my immigration points so that I can somehow, some way be saved and can stay here rather than going back. Being classified a visitor through though comes with its own set of problems. As Dinesh has learned in the past 6 months, he can't work on a visitor permit, so he has had to cut down on his spending and now lives in a shared apartment as opposed to living on his own previously. Many others are in the same boat, raising concerns about both their welfare and whether the government's immigration cutbacks will have any real effect.
Well, damn. At least the guy's trying. He's trying to learn French.
You know, that's like a really big thing now. I've seen a bunch of Instagram videos of like I would think they were students, but they've learned French and now they're teaching other people to learn it because they think it's going to help them.
But I don't think it'll help with your PR, right?
I think it gets some certain points, right? Where like
jobs want it.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I mean, I look at this, right? Like, I don't know how you feel about the whole situation. I look at this when I read this.
Yeah.
And I think somebody who exposed a loophole to come to Canada in the first place, right? Now, instead of just studying here, right? And what usually the case is that they'll say something like, you know, we were tricked into this, or, you know, we thought we were going to stay here. And that's why we did it. Right?
Yeah.
Fair enough. That happens.
Yeah.
Right. But when you come over as a student, right, with every intention to stay in the country, if what you're doing didn't work, your investment didn't work, the loan that you took to get here didn't work, that was your risk.
Yeah.
Right. So I would assume, like, if I invest in anything, it's a calculated risk, right? There's no guarantee that I'm going to get X amount in return, right? I'm taking a calculated risk. That's an investment in their future. And if their risk was that, okay, we're going to be students, you get visas, and this is how it works, and we're going to exploit this loophole, and then it worked for X amount of people, and then eventually it was like, this isn't going to work anymore.
Yeah.
You get this.
Yeah.
Right? And then a lot of them then continue to complain.
I kind of feel bad for some of them.
Why?
The ones that have been here for so long and they work here, they've built a life here, and now they're just going to be sent back. Like, I know I was on the other side of it where I was like, there's so many students, there's so many people.
Yeah.
But maybe I was just thinking about the ones that I feel like don't want to go to school. They're not in real programs. But like the people that I
come
feel
with
bad
good
for.
intentions, you're saying, right?
Yeah. Like our parents came here with good intentions, right?
Yeah.
Imagine somebody was like, after living here for 10 odd years, go back.
Yeah, but your parents didn't come here by exploiting something to be a student.
That's the thing, right?
Right? This loophole.
No, for sure.
This loophole's been open for the last few years.
Yeah.
And this is an example of bad government immigration policy, right?
Yeah.
Definitely. I have been on that side of it too, but now when I see that so many people are going to be sent back, I don't know if they're actually going to.
I mean, like the article was addressing it. I think if both things, like if somebody even comes here with good intentions or not, they did uproot their whole life. They probably spent a lot of money, sold off a lot of things, their businesses, land, whatever they had at home to do this. So you've sacrificed so much. So they're going to find workarounds, like this visitor visa thing, this Dinesh, he was doing, right?
Yeah, some people, it's not even their family that sent them. They've had to like get people around them to lend them money.
So you put in all your chips on the table, right? So you're going to do whatever the hell you can do to stay here.
And then while they're here, what I don't get, while they're here, they'll talk about Canada needs us for X, Y. Like, if you do hate it so much, right, and you're going to say all those things, then why are you even here, right? So they kind of are on the both side of the fence, right?
Yeah.
And then when you do this, like, you're going to get a lot of people who the unemployment rate's already at 6.8% that we saw, right? Inflation went through the roof, right? And if you keep getting an influx of immigrants, what are you going to get? It's going to add more to that.
Even the population is up like over past few years, like 6 million.
Yeah, Siegfried, you want to pull up a chart of Canada's population growth? Yeah, look at that.
It's at 41 mil.
It's at 41 million, right? And look at about like 2019, right? It's sitting around, what is that? 37 in 2018, 2019. And look at the steep jump from like 2022 to 2024. It went from 39 to almost like 2 or 3 million in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
It's more than like what we were ready for, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think on the flip side of it, like I can understand feeling bad for them, but on the flip side of it, you're overloading the system.
Yeah.
I kind of related to, you know how Trump's trying to get rid of criminals?
Yeah.
But you can't really pick and choose. You don't know who's
Yeah.
a criminal and who's
Yeah.
not. He's just going to send them all back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like similar. You can't pick and choose who, or you don't know who's like
Yeah.
actually
It
here
is. It's like
trying to work, trying to build our economy.
Yeah.
You're just going to send them all back. But then like you kind of have to do it like that, right?
It's like the bad ones ruin it for everybody,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But that's how it always
The
is.
wild thing is that you're not technically, if you're a student here, you're not technically supposed to come and live here. That's not the
You're
goal.
here to study and
For sure. I've even seen recent videos of students just saying, well, we're going to be sent back anyway, so we're just going to have fun for the next couple of months.
oh my god.
So create more
How
havoc,
does that
right?
help?
Yeah, well, there you go. Right.
Yeah.
Like that's going to help everyone in everyone's case
I mean,
when you do that.
there's an argument too that the jobs, like, sure, unemployment is up like 2% over the past couple of years, so almost at 7 now. There's an argument that I've seen being made that they're working jobs that nobody like is seeking out anyway.
For sure.
Like at Tim Hortons, McDonald's, and stuff. They're
Well, the issue with that, I feel like, is you get minimum wage going up. There's still inflationary pressures, right? So even though that argument could somewhat be correct, I felt like a lot of people on TikTok, Instagram, they're kind of making these videos like, hey, you guys don't want to work at Tim Hortons anyways, right?
yeah.
But still, right? Like if that influx of people didn't come in, right, and it was happening slowly,
Yeah.
that's fine,
Yeah.
right? But you're going to get 2 million people over the last 2 years. There's not, like, where are they going to live?
Yeah.
Right? Where are they going to live? They're going to live in these houses where people make them basically into like 8-unit rentals in a house that's
Crazy.
supposed to
Yeah.
be just a single family
Sticking
home.
like 4 or 5 people in each room.
Charging each person $500, trying to make $6,000-$7,000 a month off of a basement.
Look
Like,
at that
that's wild.
though. Even like people that live here and they just take advantage of them.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Well, I mean, that is capitalism,
Yeah.
right? Like if you're going to give somebody an opportunity to make money, right, they're going to act on it,
Right.
right?
They're going to exploit it.
For sure. Why wouldn't they? Right? I mean, to me, I just see this and I feel like it also, like the thing that most people don't talk about, it adds to the hatred for immigrants in general, right?
Yeah.
Because you're overloading the system.
Yeah.
And now you're going to get a lot of people who have more of a hatred towards immigrants than they did previously.
Because there's more of them to hate, right?
Not only that, like they are, like people feel like they're taking their jobs, even if they're not. Even if you don't want to work at Tim Hortons, when
You just see them
you go
more.
there and you see students working at
I
Tim
think
Hortons,
a larger problem is they don't really assimilate well either.
that's also the case.
It's like you're in a new culture, new society. You got to adapt to the way
Yeah, they
that
just want to bring their country's
here.
values here to be exactly.
Which is like, I feel like there's a little bit of give and take there, right? You bring
Definitely.
I'm not saying anyone in
Like
Canada. Canada's
we're cultured too. We
Yeah,
came
you
from
shouldn't
another
forget your culture, but
Canada's a melting pot, right? So we have different religions, every different race here, right?
yeah.
But at the end of the day, like you guys are saying, if you don't want to assimilate whatsoever,
Right.
and you want to turn this into the place that you came from, then why even come?
Yeah.
Right.
Right? Like
You
then
came
if
here
that,
to seek a different life.
right,
and
if you like what Canada has to offer, then assimilate somewhat,
yeah.
right? Adapt to your
They need to
surroundings.
learn that from somewhere though.
I think it's this influx again, bad immigration policy, influx of immigrants, too many at once. Nobody's having the time to adapt to it, assimilate. They don't see how things are done. Instead, they run into each other all the time.
The
right?
comment
And they-
sections on these videos are hilarious, man.
Yeah, because who's gonna feel bad? Oh no.
It's
No.
real.
They need deodorant.
Not to mention the crime that's gone up, right?
Yeah.
And like, I know people like to think it's not immigrants. It is, right? Like I even read today, this has nothing to do with students,
Yeah.
but apparently there's been South American crime rings that have been breaking and entering in Oakville for years now.
Chile, right?
Yeah, from
Yeah.
Chile.
Yeah.
Right? So like you read things like that and then you see numerous videos of people just breaking and entering houses. Canada used to never be like that.
Yeah.
Where people bravely just go into while people are home.
Right.
Right? They're just trying to steal their cars or whatever's in the house.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like,
scary.
weird. I saw some in Markham too.
yeah.
Like
Well,
just
Mark-
breaking into somebody's business.
Yeah. There's that too.
Just while
All
they're
these
there.
jewelry
It's like the
store
fear is
robberies
gone.
in like
Yeah, they're so
Broad
bold.
daylight.
They're so
Yeah,
brave. They just
right?
walk in. smashed the windows. I saw one though. They tried to rob a jewelry store and the jewelry store was empty.
Yeah.
So they just had to break all the windows and leave.
Oh, yeah. I guess that's smart. Okay, so let's move on to something tragic that happened in Germany.
Yeah.
According to an article in the Canadian press, Germans on Saturday mourned the victims of an apparent attack in which authorities say a doctor drove into a busy outdoor Christmas market, killing 5 people, injuring 200 others, and shaking the public's sense of security at what would otherwise be a time of joy. The alleged attack Friday evening in Magdeburg, about 130 kilometers west of Berlin, killed a 9-year-old and 4 adults and injured 41 people badly enough that authorities warned the death toll could rise. Magdeburg marked the tragedy Saturday with the tolling church bells at 7:04 p.m. The exact time of the attack in the city is roughly 240,000 people. The driver, a 50-year-old doctor who immigrated from Saudi Arabia in 2006, surrendered up to police at the scene. He's being investigated for 5 counts of suspected murder and 205 counts of suspected attempted murder. Prosecutors Horst Walter Nopens said at a news conference.
This crazy. Like, is it? So it's being considered a terrorist attack?
I don't know. Do we have any clue who the killer is?
Like, I found out online. I don't want to say his name. I don't know. It's not confirmed, but I saw it on
Yeah.
Twitter.
So online, they said that the police haven't publicly named the suspect, but a lot of like German news outlets identified him as a man named Talib A.
Talib.
They didn't say his last name because of privacy laws, and they reported that he was a specialist in psychiatry and psychotherapy. He described himself as a former Muslim, and he appears to be an active user of social media, platforms such as X, sharing dozens of tweets and retweets daily, focusing on anti-Islam themes, criticizing the religion, and congratulating Muslims who had left the faith. He also accused German authorities of failing to do enough to combat what he referred to as the Islamification of Europe.
That's a little confusing, no?
So
Yeah.
confusing.
That is so confusing.
So he's a former Muslim, so he's not Muslim anymore.
But he's anti-Muslim.
He's anti-Muslim now,
Yeah.
right? And he's driving into a Christmas market, which is Christians.
Yeah.
So he's former Muslim, so he's no religion now.
I think he's atheist, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Even
People are
online,
saying he's a Zionist.
I don't know. There's so much online about this guy. Like even his full name, everything, like photos.
it's all out there.
It's out there.
Yeah.
And
it moves quick.
apparently, even on X, he said like he proudly expressed tendencies to slaughter Germans. So
Oh, God.
is he anti-Christian? Is he anti-German? I don't know what his motive is. It's just sad, right? People are just out trying to enjoy the holidays.
Do you know
in a
it's like
Christmas
such
market.
a common thing now for people to like drive into Christmas markets? Like it's happened in Europe. I saw an article here. It's like 7 times within the
7?
last, I want to say 10 years.
Wow.
In Europe, though, right?
In
Not just
all
Germany.
Europe,
Yeah.
sorry, yeah. So twice in Germany, 3 times in Germany, and then so France and Germany mostly.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of these were like they would yell things, like they were of the Muslim faith because they would yell things
Yeah.
before they would like do that. But like drive into crowds, put explosive devices, but all Christmas markets.
Yeah.
Like what's the beef with Christmas markets?
I don't know.
I mean, I
Even
guess-
another one, there was one like 80 miles away from this one. They shut it down just
Just in
in
case
case.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's because
the big crowds.
one, big crowds, big statement, and I would assume so, just speculating here. If you're going to the one religion on the West that's prevalent is Christians,
Yeah.
right? Christmas is so commercialized. So if you want to make a statement, sadly, that's where your mind is going to go, right? You're going to want to do something at those kind of events right now. I'm not for anyone's religion if you're gonna go at a place of worship and do anything,
For sure.
or even in a place of joy like a Christmas market, right?
Yeah.
We're not Christians. We still celebrate Christmas, right? Like everyone
Yeah.
gets.
We
a
love
holiday.
Christmas markets.
Holiday spirit.
Yeah, we make
markets are
we have
fun.
trees. Like we understand the sentiment religiously. We don't practice that. But
Yeah.
just being a good person, being around family during the holidays and stuff. Everyone does it,
Yeah.
right? Especially in the West, it's so commercialized, right? So like maybe he's an anti-West person. I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe he hates religion in general, but it's kind of wild to me.
I read online too. I just searched it up. 2 weeks ago, a 37-year-old Iraqi asylum seeker was arrested for planning an attack on a Christmas market in Augsburg. I think that's in Germany as well. So
Okay,
That's weird.
That's weird. Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
is it like a targeted thing? Is it planned? Are they
Seems
connected?
like
I
it.
don't know.
200 people is a lot, man.
Yeah.
5 people died, but like,
Such young people.
oh
dude.
my God. Imagine being there and seeing this cycle.
Just drive into
Right?
Yeah.
That's so scary, man.
People take their kids. Like, it's not like you're looking at lights and you're buying, just Christmas ornaments, those kind of things, right? I mean, it's a crazy, but again, like we were talking about immigration policies before.
Yeah.
So, from my understanding, Germany and even the rest of Europe has pretty liberal laws when it comes to immigration, right?
Yeah.
Mainly due to the labor force being weak. Like
More
we're
than
kind-
us too.
I think so.
Yeah.
Right? Especially in like Italy, Germany, I think they have an aging population and they kind of rely on
Okay,
immigrants
yeah.
to come take those jobs, right? I was reading here, according to an influential foundation, Bertelsmann, Germany needs almost 300,000 new workers per year until 2040 to head off the worst effects of demographic decline. The report recommends lowering barriers further and working more to improve conditions for people trying to settle into a new life and career in Germany.
Yeah.
Right? So their immigration policies are basically just open the doors and let them in.
Yeah.
Right?
Because they need the labor force.
So I feel like a part of that is also if you have an influx of an ideology that doesn't exist in a country,
Yeah.
you're going to get some conflict,
For sure.
right? I mean, I feel like I think immigration is needed for sure, but bad immigration policy can lead to a lot. I don't want to just blame immigrants here
Yeah.
on this episode, right? But
Yeah.
I mean, this is such a sad thing to read, man. Like I saw that and at first I was like, it's so weird because you get so numb to all these kind of attacks and things that happen. You hear them.
They're not really
regular.
around you either.
But the number, 200 people, right? And then just like that image of like somebody in a car, just
Mowing through.
Disturbing.
it's wild.
I don't know about you guys, but like for me personally, just being in big public events now, after you hear of like stuff like this,
Right.
the movie theaters, like back in
Right.
the day that happened there.
Yeah,
It's
like when the shooting started happening, like
Yeah.
Columbine or any of that, or
Yeah.
there was a movie theater one. That's when I didn't really like going to crowds. I always like in the back of my mind think
I'm
something.
always
could
on
happen.
edge, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Even the biggest crowd,
Taking like the happiness out of it.
right?
Yeah,
It used to feel so much more safe.
yeah.
The biggest crowd I've been to recently, I think, was the Raptors when they won the parade. And even there, somebody like
was a little-
fired a shot.
Yeah.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if that was all immigration related or
No,
anything,
no.
but
But just in general.
Just in general, I'm saying like, I don't know. I feel a lot less safe like going anywhere big, like a big, large crowd
Yeah.
in public.
I definitely think twice. Even
I'm always
taking our
looking over my
daughters.
shoulder. man.
doesn't it feel like, and this might be a stretch, but doesn't it feel like the whole world was kind of left leaning for like a decade and now it's shifting and like immigration policies, everything,
Has a lot to do with it.
right?
Yeah.
Like it seems like almost all these countries at the same time.
Yeah.
Even in the States, have you noticed that a lot of these guys are essentially campaigning for Polyev too?
Yeah.
That's a little weird.
I mean,
It's because they're all right now. So obviously they align with his.
well, that's one. Two, there's a lot of political only podcasts out there and news stations, right? And Canada's a large portion of their audience.
Yeah.
Right. So giving the audience something they only know how to talk about politics. So it's a clickbaity thing as well. And
sure.
also this stuff is interesting,
It is. Yeah.
right? Like if you look into elections all over the world, there's one thing, but Trudeau, despite Canada only having, I think, 41 million people that live here, from the numbers we just pulled up, but
Yeah.
despite that, Trudeau's like a pretty popular guy
Yeah.
in the wrong ways, but like everyone knows who he is,
Yeah.
right? Look, these are merely our opinions based on our life experiences, knowledge, and research. Maybe you agree or disagree, or simply want to be a part of the conversation. Leave a comment and let us know your thoughts. Now let's get back to the pod. But yeah, in general, tragic situation in Germany. So let's move on to this whole drone situation. Apparently, drones are flying over New Jersey. Some people think they're UFOs. Other people think they're government controlled. What's going on with all that?
Yeah, nobody has a real explanation for it. People are pretty pissed off online.
Yeah.
They want some clarification. Biden
Yeah.
weighed in. He's still the
Can't wait
he's
for
still the
this.
president as of right now.
Before you leave office?
Will you hold a press conference before the end of the year? All the drones over New Jersey. What's behind all of this?
Nothing nefarious, apparently. But they're checking it all out. I think it's just one. There's a lot of drones authorized up there. I think one started and they all got it. Everybody's wanting to get in the deal. But we're following
What's he talking about?
Will you speak to Prime Minister Netanyahu about a ceasefire deal in the next month?
I've spoken to him. I'll just speak again.
When did you last speak?
Thank you, guys.
I love this guy.
Have you spoken to Netanyahu about a ceasefire deal? I've spoken to him. I'll speak again.
Yeah, I don't know what that really clarifies.
Aged.
Yeah, I
Even
just kind
more.
of feel bad for him. Like
For
the
sure.
Like, he doesn't understand what's going on. He doesn't
guys are just
understand
nice.
questions.
He's just like,
I
I came
Just
from a
senile.
memorial service. Nobody asked you, Joe.
What's going on with the drones? There's some up there, some are authorized, some are just there. I guess they all come.
Somebody clearly told him to say that. He just
Oh my
said it.
But like
He
the
messed
media
it up.
outlets and stuff, nobody's saying. Who's sending them?
So there's just a lot of conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
And like a lot of UFO nut jobs are kind of weighing
Right.
in. I don't want to call them nut jobs. Maybe there's something to that. They released, like, remember recently, was it last year? They said they actually had some unidentified flying.
I mean, they do
They had
it.
video of it and stuff.
I
right?
feel like ever since Rogan's been pushing it a little bit, I think it was the Commander David Fravor video where
Yeah.
the Tic Tacs moving across the screen,
Yeah.
like very quickly in and out of the water. I think that led to a lot of people speculating on how real these things are or not.
Yeah.
I think it even started back in the day with Los Alamos lab, and all the stuff that was going on with what's his name, the famous guy.
The pyramids and stuff?
No, the UFO guy. What's his name? Bob Lazar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like, but I feel like, and then that guy's had a consistent story when it comes to UFOs. He's been
Yeah.
talking about them forever, right? But
I don't know. There's something there when people.
I don't know. I see this and I think if they were UFOs,
Yeah.
wouldn't you shoot them down?
Or they would be in a rush to do something about
Right. Like we're talking about the United States,
Yeah.
right? It's not like they're flying over Mexico
Yeah.
or Jamaica or something, right? Like this is the most powerful country in the world.
But why New Jersey?
Yeah.
There's a theory on that too. Do you know about it?
I don't know about that theory, but I did.
So there's a golf course. Okay, you did research? Go ahead.
No. Just go ahead.
So there's a golf course there that Trump likes to golf at frequently,
Oh,
right? That's another speculation here. And he's just like, I think he was in a press conference. I don't think we pulled the clip, but he was in a press conference where he was talking about like, yeah, I'm not going to go golf there often anymore, right?
Okay.
Especially with obviously.
so you
two
think it's just
assassination attempts.
citizens?
No, what I think it is, if my opinion on the whole thing is, these are government controlled drones. Right?
Yeah.
I'm speculating here
Right.
because I don't think the government's going to put out drones or let drones fly around.
Definitely. Like if
airports
they're
and
from like
stuff.
another country, they
Right.
would be shot down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
100%.
So the congressman of New Jersey, he also weighed in, right? So that's another conspiracy that it's not UFOs, it's not American, it's some foreign.
It's foreign.
Yeah. So he has a quote here. The elusive okay, he told reporters Saturday that foreign actors shouldn't be ruled out. He says the elusive maneuvering of these drones suggests a major military power sophistication that begs the question whether they have been deployed to test our defense capabilities or worse, by violent dictatorships, perhaps maybe Russia, China, Iran, or North Korea. I don't know who told this guy to say that or where that's coming from, but that's another conspiracy now. He's the what is he? The congressman of New Jersey.
It's a
As
congressman.
soon as I heard drones, though, I thought China. I don't know why.
Really?
Right away. But now that like they're not being shot down and stuff, it makes me think it's like what you're saying.
Like, we're also talking about drones, right? These aren't jets, right? How do they get over the ocean? Like, this might be a dumb question, right? Like, they would have
Maybe it's like
they would have somebody local, like assembling them, putting them up in the air, kind of thing, right? I mean, like if you're talking, I'm thinking about smaller drones, but bigger ones obviously can do strikes anywhere, right? But then again, if you're letting some country surveil you like that, we shouldn't put anyone.
How do you not know? How's that happening without the government knowing?
They know.
Yeah.
Because I think even Trump, right? Same press conference I was talking about before. He's like, they know exactly what it is. Why they're not telling everyone, I don't know why.
Yeah,
but they know exactly what it is.
Yeah.
There's no way they don't know what it is.
I mean, Rogan tweeted recently, I don't know if you saw.
No.
He said, this is the first video about these drones that actually has me concerned. So I think we have the video. We could play it.
My name is John Ferguson. I'm the CEO of Saxon Aerospace here in Wichita, Kansas. There's no reason for a drone to be flying at night, really, okay? Because they don't see shit. So, unless you have thermal optics, drones really don't see stuff. You need to do mapping during the day. If you're going to do farming stuff, you mostly do it during the day. The only reason why you would ever fly an aircraft, an unmanned aircraft at night, is if you're looking for something, whether it be a person or trying to smell gas. We have methane gas detection systems that can detect gas leaks in pipelines. But if they are drones, the only reason why they would be flying and flying that low is because they're trying to smell something on the ground. That's it. There's no other reason for a drone to be flying in the air other than to piss a bunch of people off at night. That's it. So, my belief is they're trying to smell something on the ground. Gas leaks, radioactive material, whatever.
What?
So that's his theory, that they're trying to find looking for radioactive material. Even in the video, it's pretty long. We just cut it up. He says that there was missiles launched from Ukraine or some country, and he's like, they never found them. Maybe they're searching for those now. Somebody fact checked them. I think they corrected them. Community edited on what's it called, on X.
Yeah.
But that makes a little more sense, I guess, what he's saying.
Yeah. I mean, maybe.
So there's a lot of theories.
Yeah. I mean, if it's going to be surveillance related, even then, right? Like, I get the concern there because you're trying to see if there's, I guess, nuclear, where the nuclear bases would be or what's going on.
Why Jersey?
No, but even then, if you're the United States, I'm assuming the government knows more about this than TikTokers and podcasters, right? Wouldn't you be like, okay, yeah, that's what they're trying to do. Let's take those drones down.
Yeah.
And they go away. So why aren't you doing it? That's what makes me think that it's, I don't know. It's a weird one. And what would even be the reasoning if they are United States drones?
So that's been happening for a month.
Yeah, they're flying super low too. If they were high up, nobody would notice.
Yeah.
They're just all over the place. These people are seeing them.
You know what's weird? And it has, like, it's completely separate from the recent drone sightings. I once heard, what's that comedian that's on Rogan sometimes, a big fat Italian guy?
Joey Diaz?
Yeah, he was talking about it. I remember him once on Rogan's podcast talking about how he's like, Joe, you don't know, in New Jersey, he's like, I've been seeing things fly over there all the time.
Yeah.
He's like, no,
okay.
I don't know. We're not gonna be able to find the exact. But I remember him talking about it, right? So maybe it's something that they've been doing there for a while. Right? Like, who knows
Maybe.
exactly what that is, right?
Weird.
Do we have any more clips or anything on that?
No.
Okay, let's move on to the last story. According to an article in the Wall Street Journal, as fertility rates fall, some scientists say everyday chemicals are a factor. Concerns grow about so-called endocrine disruptors found in everything from plastic packaging to toys and cosmetics. Fertility rates around the world are declining, including in the US, where the total fertility rate last year fell to the lowest on record. Many scientists believe chemicals found in everyday products could be a factor, with a growing body of research showing potential negative effects for male and female reproductive systems from exposure, even in tiny amounts. The power of these chemicals to impact fertility in mind-boggling, says Patricia Hunt, a professor at the School of Molecular Biosciences at Washington State University, who has studied chromosomally abnormal human eggs for several decades. We have all sorts of evidence that indicates, whoa, we're in serious trouble here.
Yeah, so these endocrine disruptors, that's like chemicals that change your hormones?
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I've been hearing about this type of stuff for a while now.
Yeah.
Like all the plastics. I mean, Simmer's she's pretty like against plastic in general. Glass containers. Even the non-stick
stuff that you microwave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the pans and stuff.
Yeah, honestly, everything has microplastics in it. So the best you can do to avoid it, the parts that you do know, like you should try.
Yeah. I feel like it's in everything, right? Like plastic water bottles are unavoidable for some people.
Yeah.
Right. So how can you possibly avoid plastics? Right. Like it's hard.
I mean, one theory here is that, like they mentioned in the article, toys, plastics of all nature, and cosmetic products. Like these major industries probably don't want you knowing about any of this, or they've probably known for a while.
Really? You think it's done with malice intent? I feel like it just happens accidentally.
Yeah.
And then you're making money. Capitalism takes over. You're just like, we don't want to change all this. Right? You just keep going. Right? You just head in one direction. Right? I read somewhere where the average human consumes a credit card's amount of plastic in a year, I think. So, can you Google that real quick?
Wow.
Which is crazy. Imagine a credit card, right?
Yeah.
And you're eating it every single year.
That's why.
Right? But I feel like fertility rates have been dropping a lot, in large part to, I feel like people push back when they get married. When
that's
they have
part of
kids,
it, right? Lifestyle changes that people don't look at.
If that's going to happen with females, especially, there's a biological clock.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that there's not something to these everyday chemicals.
Yeah.
There definitely is, because I think there's studies done on how it can affect especially male sperm counts and things of that nature.
What did you say? Credit card per year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So some scientists have estimated the average person might eat 5 grams of microplastics in a week. So that's
think
about
one
the size of a
credit
credit card
per week.
Per
Oh,
week.
wow.
Yeah.
So
That's a lot.
Look at that.
That's a lot worse.
I thought it was a year.
50 plastic bags a year.
That's wild.
50.
That's
So
gross.
these these BPAs, right?
Yeah.
What they call them.
Yeah.
They were found in 90% of urine samples of the U.S. general population.
Oh, wow.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
You know, we're a lot more strict on it though in Canada here.
Yeah.
U.S. is way more lax.
Yeah.
It's like a bigger problem in the U.S. All these plastics, microplastics, and stuff.
Yeah, they're in everything. Like, think about takeout containers, though, or the seeping into the food, or like because all the warm, or when people microwave.
I mean, when you overthink it, it's like the stuff's everywhere.
Yeah, because even if you have like a water
when the effects happen, then you start thinking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like relating it to what you guys are talking about.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like people speculate, especially if they're having fertility problems, and they'll go anywhere with it.
100%.
Well, you're
And
gonna
the internet
try.
will tell you anything.
Yeah.
Anything you want to say yes or no, like the internet will agree with you.
For sure.
If you search the right thing, you can get it.
Yeah.
Too.
Both sides of it.
Yeah.
I feel like, especially with social media, I feel like if you whatever narrative that you're thinking,
For sure.
right? It's not only gonna you don't even have to search it. The algorithms are just gonna search.
They just know what you're looking for. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know exactly what you're looking for. But yeah, I mean,
I feel like it might just be a combination of all those things, like lifestyle changes mixed in with. There has to be some effect of all these
100%.
microplastics.
for sure.
The food we eat, the pesticides.
Can't be good to eat.
No, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think I was reading somewhere in that article, I think I lost it now, where there was even somebody who the experience that they had with it. And they,
Yeah, so her name's Kirsty Phillips. So after months of trying to get pregnant, she threw out all her candles, trashed her body wash, moisturizer, plugins, like the scented plugins. So she had originally taken for granted that she could conceive easily. She was active. She ate healthy. She came from a family with no infertility. Her husband had no known health issues as well. But then when the doctors discovered her ovaries weren't functioning properly, she was convinced. This is by a Facebook group that she was following.
Okay.
And scientific papers that the chemicals found in everyday consumer products were to blame. So 2 years after reducing her exposure with the help of artificial insemination, she gave birth to a son. 10 months after that, she was pregnant again naturally and gave birth to a daughter. She credits it to lifestyle change of those chemicals.
I mean, I don't know. What do you think? I don't think that's fully just lifestyle changes, right?
Well, you had an IUI, like you had an artificial insemination.
Right.
And then I don't know, maybe this is just a theory in my head, but I've heard that once you, like a woman's body conceives, it's a little bit easier to conceive after. I've just heard this from like friends of mine.
Yeah.
So that's what I think happened.
Yeah.
Also.
Well, I can't blame her. She's 30, healthy. No, like she doesn't think she's gonna have any problems.
For
and
sure.
that she tries all these changes.
For sure.
And then eventually it works.
And it helped.
You gotta naturally you're gonna think it.
Yeah, but
made a
before that, they weren't doing artificial insemination anyways, right? So then they do that.
Yeah, had they tried it before.
Yeah, before she did all those things and started, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying these microplastics and these everyday chemicals, whatever you want to call them, that they're not bad for you.
Definitely.
I just feel like a little bit, it's like half and half. You have that, and then you have
combination of the two.
Yeah, you have not in her case, but in general cases, I think people just delaying having kids.
Definitely.
Right?
The biological clock plays a factor in it.
Exactly.
Which is annoying. Like, why can't it play a factor in with men?
Yeah.
I mean, they do affect like sperm counts too. These PFAs or whatever.
Yeah.
The BPAs.
Yeah.
PFAs. I don't know what they're called.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think I did read somewhere what they affect there, but
I mean, Rogan talks about it a lot too. You probably heard it.
Yeah, he's an advocate of it.
Yeah, like that's kind of obvious, right?
Yeah.
It will decrease it. But so does so many things. Smoking decreases it.
Yeah.
Drinking, bad lifestyle, overweight, obesity.
Yeah.
But again, like, I'm not trying to be on the pro side of microplastics. I'm assuming eating
nobody
credit
wants
cards weekly are
Definitely
good
can't
for
be good
you.
for you.
Yeah.
But I guess there's more studies that have to be done on this.
Yeah.
More definitive stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think that's a wrap for the stories. Let's move on to off topic.
So our first topic is Blake Lively. Do you know who that is? Ryan Reynolds' wife. She's a Gossip Girl. So she's suing her co-star. They did a movie, It Ends With Us. She's suing him for sexual harassment.
Oh.
So there was a lot of buzz when this movie came out. It's pretty popular. So it's based on a book, It Ends With Us, and it's about domestic violence. That's what the whole story of the movie is about.
Oh, that one.
And there was already like quite a bit of controversy like surrounding the movie when it came out about the promotion of the movie. People are saying it kind of romanticized domestic violence. Blake Lively didn't really promote it as a DV film.
Yeah.
She was a lot more upbeat and like
She's like, get out and wear your sundresses.
yeah, like she didn't really give a trigger warning. People were really upset about that.
Yeah, they thought it was like a chick flick type.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
Well, that's what I even thought.
I never saw it. But
like I guess people that like read the book or whatever really already knew what the story was, but there was a lot of people like I've been seen online, they went into the movie not knowing at all
what it was about. Yeah.
and then learning there and being like triggered and stuff. But now, so there was like a whole thing between her and then her co-star Justin Baldoni. Because he was kind of going out promoting it as a DV film and like talking about the issues and all of that. And now
he's the director.
He also directed it and he stars as the main.
He would also promote it like separately. He didn't want to be in pictures with them. Like the cat, like it felt like there was a feud going on between all the cast members against him alone.
Against him.
Yeah.
Okay.
So everyone was like, he's the issue.
Yeah.
That's what I took from that.
Yeah. So like when the movie was coming out, they were promoting it. They were never with him, with Justin. And then now it came out that Blake Lively is suing him for sexual harassment. And it basically stemmed from, there was like a meeting they had during the filming of the movie. And Blake Lively apparently had these demands because him, Justin Baldoni, and another producer on the film were creating like a hostile working environment. And then she had, so I'm going to read some of the demands she had. So no more showing nude videos or images of women to Blake. No more mention of Baldoni's alleged previous pornography addiction. No more adding sex scenes. So things like that. And making the crew uncomfortable. So they had this whole meeting. And she's like, only if these demands are met will she continue. And she did. And then she's also alleging in this lawsuit that they kind of had this smear campaign to ruin her reputation. And that's a part of how when the movie came out, he was promoting it like this, like it was about the issues, and she was promoting it differently, even though Sony, the distributor of the movie, said to kind of promote it more in like a hopeful way. And I guess Justin took it a different
the movie,
direction.
he plays her love interest?
He's the abuser.
He's the one that abuses her,
There's a lot going on there, man.
If you're having a movie about somebody who is a domestic violence, right, and then you have a sexual assault allegation come out,
even his attitude on set, like to what Simmer was saying, showing pictures of his like pornography, like that shouldn't be things that she should have to write out. That should be common knowledge
for sure,
to not make co-stars feel uncomfortable.
It seems like there's already a rift between them beforehand.
As soon as the movie started, I don't know, filming or was in theater, there was just a feud. That was just like in the headlines that all the co-stars had.
When it happened. But I don't know, that makes it a little more, I don't know. I don't want to speculate, but
well, you're saying like it's
the credibility gets a little skewed there.
I mean, I don't know.
Credibility of what?
Like if they're already arguing and not, like they already have a beef, right? So she's making false
So her main
accusations.
sexual assault allegations is just what they said in that meeting. Like he didn't physically do anything to her.
No.
Okay.
So just sexual harassment.
Sexual harassment.
Assault.
He didn't assault her.
But so when that was happening, I don't know if the narrative I read was that they were all ganging up on him. Like they were just like when they were feuding with him. That's what I don't know. That's what I felt. I also was a fan of him because he was in this show called Jane the Virgin, which was such a good show. And he was like a good guy, and kind of, but whatever. But anyways, so I felt like everybody was ganging up on him, and then he did an interview before this lawsuit came out, asking if he would do a sequel, and he was like unsure about it because I feel like he didn't want to be associated to Blake. He's like, she should direct it. It just made me think. But then when I read what Blake Lively was saying, then I'm totally the other way now. I think he's to blame.
But the book has a sequel, like there's a second part. So I'm assuming they would make a second movie, but they would definitely not have him in it.
I remember initially
he has the rights to the book, though, right?
Does he?
I think I was reading.
Was it just the first one? I think
maybe it was just the first one.
I feel like the first time around when this happened, there was a lot of hate towards Blake, right? It kind of ruined her.
That's what she's always saying.
Yeah.
Because of what Simmer was saying earlier, right? Like if it's a domestic violence movie and she's going around being like it's a chick flick, they're gonna be like, oh, what
That's
is this?
stupid, yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Like they weren't expecting that when
For
you walk into a
sure.
movie
A
theater.
lot of women were triggered.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I remember people being in his corner, right? Am I
Yeah.
wrong?
Because
They
he's
were.
promoting it
was.
as
Yeah.
like a domestic violence thing.
So is
she's
this a
not.
dig back at him, or is I don't know?
No, I mean, we don't know what's true and what's not,
Exactly.
right? But from everything that's being alleged, he looks like a creepy guy on a set who just
Yeah,
wants to show
if he's doing all
people.
that, yeah, I'm just
Right
playing
now,
devil's
yeah.
advocate,
Right?
I don't know.
For sure.
Like, I mean, we don't know these things for sure, right? But like, that's what it seems like it is. And if it's all just stemming from a meeting of where he was being creepy,
Yeah,
right?
that's weird.
Essentially, right? Like, I mean, isn't Hollywood filled with this kind of mess? Like, this doesn't really surprise anyone,
For sure. Like the whole Me Too.
right?
Harassment's actually not bad. He didn't do anything further.
But then even how you're saying how he was
No, I
on
don't
the
mean
cast.
it's good, but
What?
it's usually worse. Nothing.
Go ahead. What were you saying?
He was on the cast of Jane the Virgin, but like the whole cast, he didn't have a problem with them. They all liked him.
That's that. Yeah. So I didn't.
That's what
and
makes
he's
this
on
all
that show for
fishy to me.
years.
Yeah. He was the main person on that show.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you don't know what's true and what's not true for sure.
Like his whole team fired back and said it's untrue, all the
Yeah.
allegations. So
Yeah, well,
They're gonna say,
right. You're gonna save his
gonna be like,
reputation.
no,
No,
he's
yeah,
guilty.
yeah. Oh, she's right. Yeah. So what else we got?
So Billboard is recognizing Diljit Dosanjh. They're putting him on the Billboard Canada. They're the cover
Okay.
for just trailblazing.
yeah, so they're just highlighting like his impact on like the culture in Canada, how he brought Punjabi music to Canada.
That's such a big show.
Yeah, and
His
like
shows are huge.
they also praise his tour. It's the #1 Punjabi tour ever done outside of Canada. And then they just did like a cover story highlighting him. He did a little interview. It's pretty
Right.
cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to talk about Punjabi music, especially outside of India,
yeah.
he started off in those Punjabi movies, from what I remember.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Right. Like
He came a long way. I've seen his
Yeah.
old stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
that-
A little cringy.
Pretty cringy,
Yeah.
you know, like
I mean, depends
old-timey
whatever you're
things.
into.
His collabs are so cool.
Yeah, I mean, he is definitely a pioneer from like if in the Punjabi music space. So like, I mean, well deserved.
Yeah, selling
right?
out these arenas and
Yeah.
stuff. And then even his music has changed. It's pretty hip hoppy, like good
It
beats.
is.
With Sweetie.
Yeah,
Like with
yeah.
Sweetie.
He knows the right people to hit
Yeah.
up. He knows what to make tracks about.
He's like Sweetie. That's what he called it.
For somebody who doesn't speak English too well,
Right.
I mean, it's pretty
Like
impressive,
headlining
Yeah.
Coachella.
right?
Yeah.
Where a lot of
Coachella.
these modern Punjabi artists, right? Like they're not great, obviously, because they're not born in the West, but like they speak English pretty well,
Right.
right? Comparatively to him, like I don't even,
He says it all the time. I mean, body and great
right? And he's out here headlining, right? Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
No, that's
I mean,
cool.
good for him.
But you know how on the cover here, that red one, it says Punjabi aa gaye hoy?
Yeah.
You know how he always says
That's
that?
like his
Yeah.
phrase.
Yeah, he always says
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Which I think is pretty cool that he says that.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of highlighting, like Punjabi people have made it here to like places we've never been before.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been here for a while.
Like these big arena tours.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Punjabi
okay.
people
No,
have
And
never
like the
done
music scene. Yeah.
Been where before?
He was just saying in Canada.
Oh. Yeah, in Canada doing what? But yeah, so that's kind of his like phrase. And then A.B. Dillon, like he recently did a concert and like brought like Jazzy B and stuff or whatever there.
Okay.
And then he captioned it on Instagram. Punjabis have always been here.
Whoa.
So I feel like that was kind of a
Fighting words.
dig at Diljit.
These guys are funny.
What do you think? I don't know.
Beef in the Punjabi industry.
And then also at his concert, another Punjabi fun fact. A.B. Dillon was like, Diljit unblock me off Instagram.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Which is like, okay.
Why did he block him anyway?
But then Diljit posted on his Instagram, he posted like a screenshot saying, I never blocked you.
Oh, damn.
And then A.B. Dillon posted another screenshot on his, and it was like, you did block me.
Oh, okay.
So it's like some
Call each
weird,
other, right? Test each other.
weird
Oh, okay.
beef.
So you see rap beef going on, and these guys are like, "Yo, this gets you clout."
Yeah,
so
trying to
we're
get
gonna
more
start a
people.
beef.
Is that what he's doing?
That makes sense.
On Instagram, bro.
Let's sell some
What is this?
records.
Like the dumbest
They saw
thing.
Kendrick and Drake.
Yeah, look at what rap beefs, what you're rapping about, right? And these guys are talking about block me,
Unblock.
unblock me. Why'd you block me, bro?
Yeah.
Oh man.
But I guess even like the rap beef, like it stems from something so small and then it just turns really big. And maybe that's what he's trying to do. But like you're right, like trying to get clout. So he just started off something so minor, like you blocked me on Instagram.
Yeah.
And then they're just going to turn it into something so much bigger.
I feel like even in general, like even if you're not famous, if somebody blocks you on Instagram, who cares?
Who cares?
Right? Like unfollow that person or
And the
block
fact
them back.
that like AP Dillon went to a concert and said it, he didn't like
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
to him himself and say, hey, why'd
Yeah.
you block me?
So I don't know if this is related, but I recently saw Diljit he didn't want to perform in India anymore because of how their concerts are set up. Like I guess it's the security or it's dangerous or the structure's not good. So he's like,
the
until they
venues.
fix it,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna perform there. So I don't know. Someone else can take that a different way. Like he doesn't want to support
Yeah,
his
true.
people. So
And this guy's always performing their AP.
yeah. So maybe that has something to do with
Maybe,
it.
yeah.
He felt disrespected,
Yeah.
but he didn't mean it like that.
Nah, I mean that's a stretch. Like if you're performing in these Western arenas, like I don't know how the arenas are in India, but I'd imagine that they're not
Probably
right
not.
to the. I'm sure there are some that they can make, but
Yeah.
like, I mean, you have massive.
So in this article, it says specifically he congratulated Garnajal and AP Dillon on their India tours, saying that we are together. And that's when AP Dillon was like, first unblock me.
Okay, then it's all for clout, man.
Like
There's
what
making
is
up a
that?
beef.
As a grown man, you're gonna tell somebody else
Unblock me.
unblock. What? Grow up, man. Like, who cares if he blocked you? Fucking loser, bro.
I'm team Diljit.
Right?
Diljit said he didn't block him, so I believe him.
Okay, what else we got?
Remember a couple weeks ago, I talked about a man who had like set his wife up and like drugged her.
Oh, in France?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he ended up getting only 20 years
Oh my god.
a jail sentence
That's
for the mass rape. You know, like I was reading it more. It's so disturbing. There was 200 videos.
Oh, okay,
200
okay. I remember
rapes.
this.
Yeah.
And then so 47 of the people have also been charged and they've only gotten between 3 to 15 years each. So not much either.
Yeah.
They're all denying that they knew she was unconscious, whatever. That's just
okay.
But
How?
they're saying the husband was sitting there, which is also disturbing.
Wow.
So if he was sitting there, then there was a big like.
So what kind of defense is that? The husband was sitting there, so
I
she's
thought
not
it was
unconscious.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not only that, it makes it okay if the husband's sitting there.
He decides who.
Yeah, if the husband's sitting there, that doesn't mean that she's not unconscious. He
Yeah,
could be
yeah.
sitting there.
That's
and
so
she could
stupid.
still be.
Having made her unconscious.
That's so, yeah.
But anyways, I felt like 20 years was not enough.
Definitely.
No.
Like
That should
he's
be life
60.
imprisonment.
He's 72.
I mean,
so he's gonna.
Who's that?
That's his son. So this is his wife. This is who he was doing it to, and then his son.
Yeah.
Like he'll probably die in prison,
Yeah.
but unless he gets out,
Yeah.
which sometimes happens.
I mean,
Even those guys, a couple of years.
Yeah, like it's still.
Yeah.
so the whole story is basically, I'm saying for the audience that never watched that podcast, right? Is basically that a husband was drugging his wife and letting,
inviting people to rape her.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
and it ended up being 200 people
200 video like recordings of it.
and like 47 or somebody got it.
But within, I think it's between 4 and 10 years that it was happening.
That's
Oh my
wild.
God.
Why do you even do that to somebody?
And apparently, I don't know if it's true, but the daughter was brought into the police station to watch some of the videos, and she was in them.
What?
What?
Yeah, so he was actually, but that's not like confirmed. But I also read that,
crazy.
and she was like, she had replied like, I don't hold anything past him.
Yeah,
at
this guy should die. In
Yeah,
jail.
20 years isn't enough for that.
No.
Well, he probably will die.
disgusting.
I don't know. That's gross.
What else we got?
So we have I have this story about so just about like exercising, right? So what would you so exercising and relating it to like your cognitive ability and how like obviously with age it declines.
Yeah.
Right? But there's a study that they did that they can like stop the decline as much with just a little bit of exercise. So how much do you think, like how much exercise do you think one person needs
I think
for
I've-
that to happen?
I think I've heard this before.
Maybe
Just
like
not that much,
15
right?
minutes a day.
Just like
So it's only 30 minutes a week.
A week?
A week.
Oh.
So
It's
I was gonna
so
say, if it's
little.
for cognitive ability, I
Yeah.
would assume
Just
it's
walking,
something
right?
cardio
Just
related,
anything,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. But you're not talking about physical health. You're talking about cognitive ability.
Right.
Two separate
But think
things.
about like I just thought about like Alzheimer's,
Right.
like stuff
Yeah.
like that, your cognitive ability, right? And if you can like decrease the decline of that by just half an hour,
I mean,
Week, yeah, that's not.
I'm not.
so worth
easier
it.
not like said because it's not like I work out.
Yeah.
No, but you get more than half an hour worth of a workout
Right?
in a week.
Yeah.
Right? It's I feel like having a sedentary lifestyle is something that a lot of, as you age, especially past your 60s, you kind of fall into it. Right? If you have
Definitely.
knee problems, hip problems, people go
Back
through
problems.
it, right?
But people also just focus on like your cardiovascular health,
Yeah.
or you're losing weight. They don't focus so much on like your ability to think,
Yeah.
which I found interesting that that's all it takes for it to decline a little bit less.
Yeah. I mean, even if, like, I don't know, for me, if I'm working out, I tend to get out of bed quicker. It seems like I sleep better.
Yeah, for
Versus
sure.
like when
You
you
do.
go through those
Little
phases
lows,
where
yeah.
you're not working out for a little bit, you feel a little
Mental
bit lethargic.
fatigue.
Sluggish.
Everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not really as quick as you would be. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if that's quality of sleep or what that is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I have another story where there was like a murder case in Spain, and it was just unsolved. So it was solved by like Google Maps. That
What
you know
the
that
hell?
person that just goes around, not solved, but they had more clues to it. Like they had the car, like there's a body.
Yeah. So one of those cars that takes the pictures?
Yeah, that goes around the
Yeah, yeah.
streets taking pictures. Just like caught this guy
That's
legit
wild.
putting a body in
He's
his trunk.
putting it in the trunk.
Wow.
That's
Isn't that
crazy.
Pretty crazy.
That's so crazy.
And that's kind of cool. Unfortunate.
Well,
but
hold on. The
it's
guy
cool
that's
that he got
taking
caught
that
way.
Google car that's taking those pictures, right? That's not a self-driving car, right?
No, it's
Because
not.
immediately my mind goes to that, right? Like, this murder
Call the
happened.
cops.
Somebody's throwing a body in the back of a trunk, and
Right.
this Google driver's just like, take the picture.
I don't know how it
Pretend
works
for now.
though. Like how, like, is it? Oh yeah, I don't know how it works.
Is it like a drone?
I've seen them. No, this is just
No,
a
it's-
car with a massive like camera thing on it.
Yeah,
It's a 360 camera.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what they used to be. I don't know if they might be drones
I saw
now.
them recently, like on the highway and stuff.
Have
They
you?
really do both.
But yeah, if he saw that, he should have just called the cops.
Right? Instead, they waited like what, a couple of years later, and they're like, "Oh, solved a murder case." But yeah, it's still wild.
Yeah.
The Toronto Star released the most Googled questions by Canadians this year.
Okay.
Do you guys want to take some guesses on
The most Googled question?
most Googled question? What would be the most Googled for 2024?
When is Justin Trudeau?
When is he getting off out of office?
Yeah. When are the next elections? Like,
I don't know what's trending. What's trendy right now?
So there's what
Inflation.
questions, why, or how.
what?
Try what?
How to lose weight? That has to be one of them, no?
No.
Oh no.
No, why would that be Canadian specific?
Oh, it's Canadian
It's in
specific.
Canada.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was just
Yeah.
okay.
But it doesn't
And for
necessarily have to be about
2024.
Canada.
Yeah.
So when I read some of them, I found them pretty funny.
Oh.
Like, so here are like how she was saying the what, the how. The one that stuck out, like how tall is Simone Biles? I have Googled that. I
Really?
think I saw her standing beside Shaq in a picture, and I'm like, how small is she?
I've
So
thought
I
that before.
Googled it.
Yeah, like for what, one of them is, what does demure mean?
Oh, I
Yeah.
Why does everybody keep saying it?
So stupid.
What is fracking? I've done that.
Yeah.
Trump, eh? Why did Trump win?
Because he won. Because more people voted for him.
A lot of Google searches about the solar eclipse.
Look at number 2, Jake Paul. What time is it, Jake Paul?
Oh my god, that's crazy.
It's probably
That's
all those
actually wild,
people
though.
where the Netflix thing cut out.
Yeah. It was like lagging.
They're like, is it
Yeah.
on? That's crazy. That means
What is
the numbers.
MPOX?
CTE.
That's surprising that it's up there. Why is
LCB on?
People are concerned.
Right?
Oh my god.
So
What else we got?
the last story I have, so Albania declared a 1 year of a TikTok ban because they think social media, like specifically TikTok, is relating to a lot of violence happening. So a boy was stabbed to death. He got into a fight and he was stabbed. He died. So now they're just banning TikTok for the year. And like other countries have been doing it. Remember we talked about Australia?
Yeah.
Right.
With the six, so
And the
it's
US is coming
feels
up.
like it's happening a lot.
It's gonna happen in
Why
the US.
specifically TikTok? I don't.
Why these guys only 1 year? Just ban it.
Yeah.
No,
Like
so
we're
to
just
me-
gonna pause.
So to me, to answer your question, I
Yeah.
think TikTok caters to a younger demographic and they're more
That's
impressionable.
true.
Impressionable.
So that's why that's happening. And then 2, I feel like these little bans over the app, like I'm not saying that there's not people say it's Chinese spyware and stuff, and that's why they're doing it in national security issues. But I think this is more of a conversation about social media in general, right?
Yeah.
And governments in different countries having laws around who is able to and who should be using social media, right?
For sure.
Like alcohol is regulated, right? Porn is more so regulated somewhat in some states, some countries, depending on where it is. They don't show
Age
it on TV.
restrictions, yeah.
There's age restrictions everywhere, but with social media, it just runs rampant.
Smoking,
Right. So I
drugs are
think
regulated.
this is like, because we've been talking about it for like the last 2-3 weeks, right? So I think this is a start of something where you're going to start to see regulation. And I think that's more so the answer, but it's a complicated topic because then you can get censorship,
Yeah.
right? So, I mean, we all saw what happened a few years ago. You couldn't even mention the word. Like, we're still terrified to mention what
Yeah.
happened a few years ago because you get shadow banned.
Yeah.
Right. And then even now, like, you get people that self-censor because then the group thing starts happening. So like it's a weird space, but
It
I
hinders
feel-
free speech in the end.
it does, right? So I don't know how you can eliminate that and still have free speech. But I think doing these little TikTok bans or 1 year bans or
Yeah.
whatever that is, I don't think that's the solution. I think I was on board somewhat with Australia's response,
With the 16 and under, right?
right?
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not on TikTok enough. I didn't know it invoked so much violence. I just saw like dances and stuff or like
Yeah, I didn't
recipes.
know this side of it
But
either.
the violence, I don't know.
Whenever those trends happen,
Yeah.
like I don't use TikTok at all, but from what I read, whenever those trends happen, there's a couple of very stupid trends that will
Where
catch
people
on.
die.
right?
I've seen that.
Yeah, so they catch on, and then you just have a bunch of people just wanting to do them, right? And a
Right.
lot of the time, it's younger people who are more impressionable. They're not going to research, or maybe they don't even have the wisdom yet in life where they're like, "Oh no, that's BS," right? Like they
Yeah.
can't, they don't have that filter. They can't really get through that.
Yeah.
So they very easily just fall victim to those kind of things. So to me, I don't know. But with the Australia thing, I do feel like they, even in that, they were like, it's up to the parents to enforce it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't know. If it's up to the parents to enforce it, then why even have that law?
I mean, I think that is the answer. Just it can't just be TikTok alone either. It should just be social media in general. Everything else, like you said, is age restricted. Why is social media not?
Also, I feel like the other way to look at it, now I'm playing devil's advocate against myself, movies, right? Rated R movies, PG movies, G-rated movies, right? Kids pretty much have
Find a way to
access
watch
to
anything.
10-year-olds can watch whatever movie they want to at home if parents aren't paying attention, right? So there are certain things along the way that you expose your kid to, and certain things you wait until they're older because they don't have the capability to understand or comprehend certain things, right? So if you have a parent who is going to be on their shit,
Yeah.
right, and not let their kid watch certain movies, that kind of parent is going to know how to deal with this also.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But if you have the parent who's a little bit lackadaisical, a little bit
Then you tell
relaxed
them
in
what
their
to do.
approach to parenting, then yeah, kids are gonna, if you're gonna leave a kid to their own vices and they're, it's nighttime, everyone's sleeping, you have your cell phone out.
Even like what you're saying, there's so many different types of parents, so much different types of parenting, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Your kid can just go to someone's house where they parent a little bit differently, be
Exactly.
exposed to things that you
Right.
wouldn't necessarily expose them to.
Yeah.
So you always just have to worry.
Yeah, I think that term helicopter parent, I feel like was
It's so
frowned upon.
negative.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's that negative.
I mean,
think
in
knowing
this
what your
day
kids
and
up
Sound
age,
like a
look at
helicopter
this.
parent.
Like these stabbing incidents,
Yeah.
right? And people committing suicide,
Yeah.
right? Like you have to, at this point, especially when your kid reaches, I feel like by the time they're a teenager, even earlier, right? There's a lot of conversations you have to have with your kid,
For sure.
right? And like, if you let them, we fall victim to algorithms, right? If you're not privy to everything that's happening, you could easily be like, oh yeah, this makes sense, without realizing that, hey, there's a different side to the story. Maybe I should look at this from an objective lens, right? And we're adults,
Yeah.
right? So especially with kids, I feel like as a parent in 2024 and beyond, you have to be of the mindset where you're like, I'm going to have to watch what they're doing on their phones and, you know, what's going on, what kind of social media they're consuming and what's, you know.
To be diligent for sure.
It has to be like a combo of both. Like even the movie example you used. Like if your kid's 11 and you've seen the movie, but it's rated PG-13, you can make a judgment call there. Like he can watch it. There's nothing so bad in it.
Right.
And he's mature enough to realize everything going on. So same thing can happen in these situations.
Yeah.
It's tough.
It's definitely, I feel like, a touchy subject, though. Censorship versus
that's the scary part of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because whenever the government has a chance to censor, they probably will.
And governments want power and control, which is bad for citizens. Right. What else do we have?
That's all we have for off topic.
Okay.
Okay, let's move on to some questions. Question of the day. So let's start with, would you rather lose all your memories or never be able to make new ones?
Whoa.
Damn.
At your current age.
Yeah.
Today.
Lose all your memories. Never be able to make. That's so hard.
Well, if you're saying that those memories would make you forget the people that you've now surrounded yourself with, or are you saying just core memories that were like happy?
I think you're still the person you are. You still have everybody around you. You just can't remember memories that you've had with them, but other people remember it.
Okay. If those are the parameters,
Yeah.
I'll lose my old ones. I've lost half of them already. I'm pretty
But
I knew you were
forgetful.
if you do that though, memories are a part of what makes you attached to family members, attracted to the person you're with.
Yeah.
Having a relationship with your kid is those core memories that make you feel that connection, right? If that memory is gone, is that connection gone?
Valid point.
I think if Indy just wakes up one day and he forgot everything, and then you're just like, that's your wife, he'll just be okay. And just live life.
Make new
But I
memories.
think about
That
like
would
someone
suck
who
if
has
you
brain
can't make
trauma, and that can happen.
Yeah.
And then you still move on with your
50
life.
first
and you-
dates. They made it work.
Yeah. No,
Or you can now from today create new memories.
You can. I think, yeah. So I think
So I would lose my old.
you would lose your old?
Yeah. Don't worry, we'd still be married.
No, I get that. I don't know.
Because
Because
she's saying that you're still the person you are. So I know I'm still married.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I feel like my personality would change if I don't have those memories, right? So
That's a valid point.
It's a tough one. I think it's an age decision. If you're more on the closer to
Can't think about
100,
it too hard.
I do have to.
It's a simple question.
Yeah, if you were like 50, it's an easier one, right?
I can afford
What would
to.
you say when you're 50
Then you can remember the older ones.
and not have any new ones?
Okay, so I would
50
do
is
this.
not that old.
Or
Yeah,
six-
it's not.
60?
Remember your grandkids.
60s.
Even your kids growing up
Yeah.
at 50, they're still
I
great.
never mind.
Though, because
At 90.
you could still live those things. You
yeah.
just won't remember them
Yeah.
because you still have
Yeah, you'll
everything
still
up to
have
this point.
happiness.
Mm-hmm.
Just will go away. It'll be like a
You just won't
goldfish. Like Dory.
I don't know. I guess I'll play devil's advocate and choose. I'd rather keep my memories.
Okay.
Wow. You don't want to see your daughter getting married. You want to remember.
I am gonna see her.
You
I just
wanna
won't remember it.
Look back at the wedding movie. Okay, next question. Would you kill 10 people to save 100 people?
Yes.
No.
No.
No, I wouldn't either. Why would you say yes?
So quickly.
I didn't even change my mind because you guys didn't agree. Yes.
What?
Okay.
To save 100 people? Think about the math.
Yeah, but you're going to be a killer?
Yeah, but then now
I would just
100 people
rather
will
not
die.
be
The
involved.
blood will still be on your hands.
No, what's the thing?
Yeah, but you didn't actually kill them.
What's
And
the thing?
justify
Nah.
the means.
Yeah.
But how do the 100 people die?
I don't know.
By killing.
Okay, it's kind of like what this question reminded me of. Do you remember in The Dark Knight, there's that scene where it's like two different boats, one boat
Right.
full of criminals and one just regular like family and stuff.
Yeah.
And then the Joker was like, you have to
blow up?
detonate one
Oh, okay.
ship or one
That
boat.
was such a good movie.
Yeah.
Such a good
Oh
movie.
my God.
Yeah.
So would it be the boat of criminals or the boat of regular people? So it's the same, kind of similar. Like
That's
does
an
it
obvious
justify
choice
means?
too. Boat of criminals.
But in those criminals, those people also have lives. There's people who are also in prison wrongfully accused. There are also people who depend on those kind of people.
I think in
right?
the movie there was like
criminals.
bad guys.
No, but it's also perspective, right? Like if something was to happen and I had to, I don't know, defend my family or something, and now I'm labeled as a criminal.
You can't put yourself in the situation.
That's exactly what the question is.
But then you're picking the side to blow up regular
No,
people. You have to pick one.
I'm not saying they have to die. I'm saying I wouldn't kill anyone to make sure that they
Yes,
survive.
that's
The
the thing.
only circumstances where I would is if I knew these 10 people were so bad and they were horrible people, because she didn't say innocent or criminals or any of that. We're
Yeah.
just adding all this
Yeah.
context.
Right.
It's 10 people, save 100 people. These 10 people could be saints. They could be somebody who's like moms and children.
Well, now I'm thinking like
1-year-old.
even further. I'm going to kill these people, become the criminal. That gets in the end.
Yeah.
You're gonna end
Now I'm
up in
just
that
saying
boat.
myself.
Yeah. So
That's why you should just not get involved.
Just everybody dies.
You figure it out.
okay. It just got morbid. Okay, what's the next question?
Okay, last one. What would you try if you knew you wouldn't fail? Like you would be good at it no matter what. What would you do? What would you try?
Professional athlete.
God, my mind went right
No,
there.
I'm saying it for you guys. I knew you guys.
Yeah,
that's what I
was like,
thought
I'd
you
be in
said.
the NBA.
I don't want to play with the WNBA. Make the same amount of money I make right now.
So
Less
true.
probably. But yeah.
I would probably
where I
want to be
wanna
like a
don't know.
singer or a movie star.
You definitely be a singer.
Next Taylor Swift.
She already picked these Taylor Swift.
Yeah, no, I would go athlete right there. Pretty easy.
Probably. I'm trying to be more creative, but I don't know.
Why? Okay, I'll add some depth to it because I feel like as an athlete, yes, there's a lot of hours that you put in growing up
So
as a kid,
rewarding, right? Probably.
Oh,
But yeah, you're doing something.
You have to miss Christmas. You know how many Christmas games there are?
You know how
fun
cool
it is
your
to play
family's
basketball.
Christmas is,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah. I feel like you're doing something that you love for a very long time, and retirement for basketball players is normally 35.
Yeah.
Right. So, like, you would retire and have
That's
the rest
true.
of your life
That's true.
ahead of you, a lot of money, not
I mean,
even
it's
from
a
a
cool
financial,
life.
from a fulfilling aspect.
And everyone loves you. If you're good at it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you're adored by so many people.
But you'll also be hated by people, but I feel like it's something where, I don't know, if you're doing something in life that gives you purpose, I feel like a lot of people are missing that and they don't realize the amount of happiness you can have from having purpose.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you have something that you're getting better at every single day and you're striving towards, then that purpose is a lot. Right. Now, remember, we're not experts at anything, but we research everything and we encourage you guys to do the same. And with that, it's a wrap. Catch you guys next week.
Take care, everybody. Happy holidays.